Hello everyone, today we will discuss on the topic skeletal system. Skeletal system is the internal framework of the human body. Skeletal system protect and support body while giving shape and form. Then bone tissue makes up about 18% of the total human body weight. Then what is the term osteology? Osteology is the branch of science which deals with the skeletal system and their structure and function. In a simple language, we also called as the study of bone is called as osteology. Then bone content, of bone, 25% collagenous protein and 35% mineral salt and 45% water. Then component of the skeletal system. Skeletal system consists of bone, cartilage, ligament and tendon. Bone are the rigid organ that make up the skeleton, and cartilage are the flexible tissue that support the structure. Then ligaments are bands of connective tissue that connect bone to the other bone at the joint. Then tendon are the connective tissue that attach muscles to the bone. Function of the skeletal system. Function of the skeletal system, first one is the support. It provides framework for the body and support soft tissue. Then second is the protection. Skeletal system protect the vital organs. For example, skull protect the brain, rib cage protect the lungs and heart. Then third one function is the movement. Work with the muscular system to enable the movement. Store mineral like calcium and phosphorus which can be released into the bloodstream as needed. Then next function is the blood cell formation. Bone marrow is responsible for the blood cell production. There are two types of bone marrow, yellow bone marrow and red bone marrow. Yellow bone marrow, storage of fat in cell such as adipocyte, and in red bone marrow to produce blood cell or hematopoiesis. Then we see division of the skeletal system. Human skeleton consists of 206 bone in adult. Bones of the skeleton are grouped into two divisions. First one is the axial skeleton and second is the appendicular skeleton. Axial skeleton consists of skull. Skull is divided into two parts, cranium and face. Cranium bones are 8 and facial bones are 14. Then hyoid consists of 1 bone. Then auditory ossicle consists of 6 bone. Then vertebral column consists of 26 bone. Then next is the thorax. Thorax consists of the sternum and ribs. Sternum consists of 1 bone and ribs consist of 24 bones. These are the axial skeletal bone. The total number of axial skeletal bone are 80. Then second is the appendicular skeletal bone. In appendicular skeletal bone consists of pectoral girdle, pelvic girdle, upper limbs and lower limbs. Pectoral girdle consists of 2 scapula bone and 2 clavicle bone. Then upper limbs. In upper limbs consist of humerus. There are 2 bones present. Ulna 2 bones. Then ulna 2 bones. Then radius 2 bones. Then carpus 16 bones are present. Then metacarpals are 10 and phalanx contain 28 bone. Then pelvic girdle consists of 2 bones. Then the lower limbs. Lower limbs contain 2 femur bone, 2 patella bone, 2 fibula bone, 2 tibia bone, 10 tarsal bone. Metatarsals are 10 bones. Then phalanx are 28 bone. The total number of appendicular skeleton bones are 126. Now we see types of the bone. Bone shapes are classified into 5 types based on the shape. First one is the long bone. These are the greater length than width. For example, femur, tibia, fibula, humerus, ulna. Then second type is the short bone. These are the cube shape and provide stability. For example, carpal and tarsal. Then third one is the flat bone. These are the thin flat surface that provide protection. For example, sternum, ribs, cranial. These are the example of the flat bone. Then fourth one is the regular shape. These are the complex shape and cannot be grouped into any of the previous bone. For example, hip bone, some fascial bone and vertebrae. Then fifth one is the sesamoid bone. It protects tendon from excessive wear and tear. For example, foot, hand and patella. These are the example of sesamoid bone. Then we see the structure of the bone. The outer covering of the bone is called as the periosteum, and the upper region and end of the long bone is called as epiphysis. Then the middle portion of the bone is called as the diaphysis. Bone consists of two main types. First one is the compact bone and second is the spongy bone. Compact bone is also called as hard bone. These are the dense and the outer layer and providing strength and protection. Then second is the spongy bone. These are the lighter and found only at the end of the long bone and in the interior of the other contain red bone marrow. Then we see bone development and growth. Bone development occur through two processes. First one is the intramembranous ossification and second is the endochondral ossification. So what is the term of ossification? What do you mean by ossification? Ossification is a process of turning into bone or bony tissue. Intramembranous ossification is the direct formation of bone from the mesenchymal tissue, primarily in the flat bone. Then endochondral ossification, the development of bone from the cartilage template, commonly in the long bone. Then we talking about the bone cell. In this the term osteogenesis, the formation of bone cell is called as osteogenesis. There are three types of bone cell. First one is the osteoblast. In this the immature newly formed cell. Then osteoclast, cells in the destructive phase or old age cell. What is the osteocytes? These mature bone cells that maintain the bone tissue. These are the three types of bone cells. Then we talking about the disorders of the skeletal system. First one is the osteoporosis. In this a condition characterized by the reduced bone density and increased fracture risks. Then second is the arthritis. In this the inflammation of joint and leading to pain and stiffness. There are two common types of arthritis. First is the osteoarthritis and second is the rheumatoid arthritis. Then third one is the fracture. In this breaks in the bone and caused by the trauma and stress. Then next is the Fagot's disease of bone. In this it is a chronic disorder that disturbs the normal remolding of the bone. Next is the bone cancer. Bone cancer, malignant tumor that can arise in the bone or spread from other part of the body. And next is the osteogenesis imperfecta. It is a disorder that causes the bone to fracture easily. That's all about the skeletal system. Thank you.